hour or so.
Okay, and I think producer Jess, do you want us to show this? Okay, so this is what the president tweeted. Is this correct?
Oh boy.
He just tweeted, wow, a Game of Thrones type image here. No collusion. He says no obstruction. It says for the haters and the radical left Democrats. Game over. All right, well.
And that just came out, right?
He just tweeted that on the heels of that press conference.
I imagine he had that ready to go there, the president, and
assuming so.
Ready to hit send there at the very end of that press conference today by Attorney General William Barr. So that is obviously the top story nationally this morning, and our coverage of that story will continue all day, both online, KHW.com, and throughout the newscasts on our TV programs. But we do want to dive into I'll say lighter topics because we have a couple of today, and one we'll talk about in a moment was this story that's gone viral of the mom who I guess left her kids unattended. She says for 8 minutes. She was getting ready for work, and her 3 children were playing in the backyard. What she forgot to do was take the clippers out of the backyard that she had just used to groom the dog with.
You're kidding.
And the 3 children basically groomed themselves, and thankfully they weren't hurt.
They must be little.
They were little. I want to say the ages are 2, 5. Oh no. Maybe the 5-year-old may be the oldest. 2, 5,
were they alone in the backyard?
So 5, 3, and 2. I said the same thing. Why the heck were they left alone, unattended, even for 8 minutes? Believe it or not, though, this mom, for the most part, is being applauded on social media because her reaction to what she walked into was basically most of the kids' hair is now gone.
Okay.
The little girl, the boy.
Oh, no.
We actually can show this, Jay. We have it up on the monitors right now.
Oh, so, my goodness.
Our Facebook followers can see this already. Our Instagram followers can see it now because of Camera Jay's slick camera movement. But there's the little girl.
Oh, sweet.
And it was the 5-year-old brother that did the barber's work here. And yeah, huge chunks, Ashley. Not just a little hair trim. Basically.
So what did the mom say to this?
So in the beginning of this video, she's trying to fight back the tears, but she's saying words of encouragement to the kids like it's going to be okay. Hair grows back.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. That sort of messaging. And then pretty soon thereafter, she's laughing with the kids, and I guess she's being commended because basically she didn't lose her cool.
Yeah,
she kept her composure.
Oh, that's great. What a darling little family. Well, good for her, you know.
But I'm like, am I a negative Nancy?
Well,
or negative Nick, because all I thought was, geez, you got 3 kids, 5 and under. I wouldn't let my 11-year-old twin boys stay alone together without too much supervision because together it's trouble. I would imagine 3 under 5. I've never had that scenario in my own home.
Me either. I mean, I can't judge, I guess, because who knows? I'm sure they spread, they run like, get out of hand easily. But
put the clippers in the backyard.
I know. I just hate to judge her.
Put your toys away. I may or may not put the clippers away, but make sure you put your toys away.
At least that.
So yeah, the dog clippers is what led to those kids having a good majority of their hair taken off by the oldest brother.
What I have to look forward to. All right.
All right. The other topic we're going to get into, and I wanted to get into that's sort of lighter. This one, of course, has a more serious tone because Multnomah County, the Sheriff's Office of Multnomah County, recently did a survey with the Facebook followers of Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, and they were basically trying to find out if people have seen others using their cell phone while driving. And the fact of the matter is, not only have people said, yes, I see that a lot, people are saying they see it multiple times a day. The majority of people responded to this poll by the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office saying they see people on their cell phones behind the wheel multiple times a day. 62%, in fact, answered with that multiple times a day answer.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So they're now, in response to this, Multnomah County is stepping up their distracted driving patrols. There's an ODOT grant that's making that possible. But you were saying this earlier, Ashley, that you see this quite often yourself, and you don't just let it slide by.
Well,
can I put you on the spot?
Sure. Okay. So I drive Vancouver to Portland to Battleground technically now, but so I do that drive on I-5, and I will say I don't see it as much on the freeway, which is good. Plus, you're driving so fast, I guess I'm not really paying attention to other people, but I see it all the time at stoplights. And here's what I do. If I'm behind somebody...
and here's what I do.
Here's what I do. I believe firmly in honking, and some people don't like honking. But I am like, you know what? I'm going to lay on that horn. If I see you in front of me, and you're at a stoplight in front of me, and I'm not able to go because you're not paying attention to the green light, I'm going to honk at your butt.
I would
time it gets
describe
you
your
going.
honking as a public service. You're bringing
Yeah.
that distracted driver
Aggressive
back
honking.
to the task at hand.
But
Hello,
you
pay
know,
attention.
Some people
You're
are like-
driving.
some people tell me I never honk. Oh, that's rude. Like I only honk in serious situations. I'm like laying on that horn all the time. I'm aggressive on the
Distracted
road.
driving is, I would say, serious. So
Yeah.
you are doing it in a serious situation, and because, quite frankly, it's right there with driving under the influence. Either way,
Yeah,
you're not
you're distracted.
capable of operating the vehicle in a safe manner when you're not paying attention to what's happening.
Yep. Do you see that, Rod? You take the same
You
drive.
see
to-
people on their phones when you're driving. You ever notice a person next to you actually on their cell phone?
Honestly,
mean
I'm sitting
texting.
back
You mean
in my
texting,
car
probably.
listening to country music on Sirius radio, and I really don't have a grasp of what other people are
Right.
doing.
You're probably the one in front of me not going.
Well, Ashley's point was when she sees it most
No, I
often.
get it, yeah.
And I see it too. It's not
Yeah.
because you're driving down the road going, I'm an attentive driver, looking at everyone else. That's
Right.
not what happens. But sometimes
Right.
when you're at a light and the light changes to green and the person in front of you doesn't go, suddenly you're wondering, why isn't that person going?
Yeah.
And they're still not
Pay
going. And
attention.
then you realize,
And-
they've
and
got
I-
a phone in their hand.
And I will say, if I hear my phone, which is usually if I'm by myself in the passenger seat laying there, and if I hear something go off and I'm at a red light, I will glance over and see if it's something that's important.
Everybody probably
I will do
is
that.
guilty of doing that. But
But I'm very conscious about it. That's not in my hands when I'm driving. But we're blessed in that we have two fairly new vehicles, so we have the fancy everything built in.
Right.
Which,
I would probably guess, considering your morning meteorologist status, that most things in your life are pretty fancy. You live a fancy lifestyle in general.
do you know, Rod?
I do buy I do buy strictly brand cereal. I don't get that off-brand stuff that's cheaper.
No.
I spend the big bucks to get the Captain Crunch and the Apple Jacks and the Raisin Bran.
I'm going to redirect this conversation back to the topic.
Oh, yes, the topic at hand.
Kira
Thank you.
says,
Distracted we were.
Kira, there you go. Kira says she sees it every day, 10 to 15 times. She'll see people on their phone chatting. Jack says, I see it every day, almost every other car on the freeway, on side streets, while driving. He said he's never seen a parked car with someone on their cell phone. It's just driving. And then Della says, so if I see someone watching, see someone on the phone, I can call the police, and will they do something about it?
So you
Well,
pulled up both the Facebook feed and the
Yep.
Instagram feed. You can watch
Yes.
Sunrise Extra on both feeds because I grabbed your other phone. My phone is being used so we
Look
can
at us.
stream on Instagram right now. But we do have a follower on Instagram who also chimes in saying, totally. They say that they're in Southern Oregon. They see this all the time. Semi-drivers is what they say they see on the cell phones a lot. Service drivers
Wow.
also.
Wow.
Everyone, they're saying, is guilty of this.
That surprises me.
You'd think they'd be extra careful
Yeah,
if they're in a
that
marked
surprised me.
vehicle with
Right.
a company name.
What do you, let me throw a twist into this, though. So, we're getting the new cars now. They all have basically entertainment consoles anymore, a lot of them, depending on if you buy, like we buy satellite radio. And my point is, I'm going to say, although it's not illegal, but I'm going to tell you, I am absolutely just as distracted fiddling with all of my knobs and all my fancy stuff in my car as if I were,
On
if
your
I
phone,
had
yeah.
my phone right here
Right.
talking to somebody.
Or yeah, I mean,
So
if
I'm
you're
not
doing
sure-
this or doing this,
Yeah.
you're still not doing this, right? You're not
So-
looking where you should be.
Right.
You know, I understand why we've got the law for really hitting the phone, but the problem goes far beyond that. And I'm guilty of being distracted doing other things in my car.
Yeah, no, I still agree. I see what you're saying. Yeah, the screen that's now has so much on it that's right there on
And
the
the
console
navigation
can be
and
very
all that
distracting.
stuff. Yeah.
Nonetheless, I still feel like it's probably a good idea to keep to have this distracted driving law, to keep this cell phone law in
Yeah.
place.
Agree.
And I
Agree.
still think it's.
Yeah.
I would argue that it's still more unsafe, the cell phone, because what happens is it's the text messaging, in my opinion, what really leads to a lot of these
I don't
accidents.
text a lot.
I know you don't, but some people will read a text. It's one thing to
Yeah.
change the channel on the radio or turn on the map, but if
Yeah.
you see a text and you read like
Yeah.
7 words,
Yeah.
that's just enough to take your eyes off the road.
It takes a second.
Yeah.
I just got distracted because I saw this hideous dress pop up in the monitor. And isn't that our next topic, Drew?
Yes,
Just
it is.
bought my wife that
Balenciaga
same
dress.
It can be our next topic if you want it to be, Ashley, because anything goes the way we want it to on the Sunrise Extra program.
It's rather square, isn't it?
It's constantly flowing and moving and ebbing and flowing and ebbing and flowing. So yes, I thought that this was actually like a green square that was blocking out the top part of her dress because maybe it was too revealing.
Oh, yeah.
Like I thought
Like
there
a
were
sensor?
Yeah, I thought it was a sensor that just happened to be the same color as her dress. But no, that square is part of the dress. Let's get a little background on this right now. This weird dress comes from a designer whose name I struggle with as a Balenciaga, Jessica?
Yeah.
You've heard of?
I have. I've heard of that. Yeah.
That's a
It's
common like designer.
Balenciaga.
You familiar with Balenciaga?
I'm not.
Good.
How about Mr. Haynes? I know Mr. Haynes, fine designer.
Balenciaga, I think Balenciaga is an offshoot of the Hanes underwear company.
Yes.
Yes,
I could
it
be
is.
wrong about
Good
that, though. Some people have compared this dress to that of a couch cushion, saying that the woman looks like a couch cushion.
I get that. Yeah.
So,
It's so-
I'm going to ask you both this. Did you already see the answer to this question of how much this dress goes for?
I
you
did,
see
yeah.
that? Okay,
Yeah,
then
ask
don't
Rod.
answer.
Okay.
Rod Hill.
Yes.
Where
This is a designer dress.
Yes, Balenciaga designed this dress.
Well, I'm going to say if it's a designer dress, it's probably somewhere between in that big whirl. I'm going to say between $1,000 and $3,000.
You're right when you say 1,000, but you're a little short when you say 3. It's actually worth, they're saying, or should be going up for sale at $5,300. $5,300.
Wow.
If you're dealing with euros, ladies and gentlemen, that would be $3,700. $3,700
Okay.
That's
euros.
ridiculous.
$5,300.
You know, this is just one of those marketing gimmicks. They design, like Nordstrom's known for that. They design these hideous or ridiculous things. Like, what was the rock? Wasn't there a rock with a satchel or something a few years ago? Do you remember? It was like several $1,000s. It's just marketing gimmick.
Viewer Paula just chiming in saying she just bought that dress and she thinks she looks fabulous in
You're
it.
full of it, Rod Hill. I know you are. You see nothing of the kind there. But we could ask our viewers to chime in right now. So, assuming that this dress with the square top doesn't become a fashion trend, we know that other fashion trends have become popular, even though we think they shouldn't. So the question is this: is there a fashion trend from any era that you regret buying into? Maybe it's bell-bottom jeans.
I was going to say the elephant bottom. Remember they even called them, the big ones were called elephant bells, I think, in the 70s.
The
The bell bottoms, and you could get even
Yeah.
elephant bell bottoms,
Those are
which
kinda
were
back now.
huge bell
They're back.
bottoms.
Look at this. Producer Jess is finding this online.
Oh, yeah.
So Rod, did you wear pants that were wider leg than that?
There are some interesting pics of me dressed in the 70s.
I want
I'm
to see.
sure.
We need to dig these up.
But yeah, the cool thing about the 70s were it was okay for a while for men to wear the platform shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I got into that because mine, they added like about 3 inches height to me.
Of course you got
I
into
can see
that.
Rod going, this is a trend that can never end.
That is too
Platform
funny.
shoes must last forever.
Rod, what else did you tell us? We need a picture of you in bell bottoms and
I don't know. And then, of course, I had a green polyester. Remember the leisure suits where you wore them open with often kind of a floral silk shirt with the big wide collar that would go on top? You remember the
That's
leisure
good.
suit days?
Yes,
That was.
yes.
That's actually Rod in the middle.
How did we ever fall
Look at
for the
this. Hey,
leisure
Rod,
suit?
come here a minute. Come here. Look at these 3 dudes.
Now I
You
had
got this guy,
okay.
this guy, and this guy.
I
Which
would've
guy
had-
would you most resemble in the 70s?
I had pants very similar to this, and I would have had a shirt pretty similar to that.
So you're a blend. You're
So
a blend
I'm a
of this
blend.
fella
Yes.
and this guy. His bottom with his top, you've got the Rod Hill of the 1970s.
Exciting, isn't it?
Drew, what about you? Any
You know
poor
what comes to
fashion
mind?
choices?
And please, don't let us be the only ones having this conversation. Join us, won't you?
Yes, weigh
Join
in.
us on
Yeah,
our
who
Facebook and
remembers
Instagram feed.
1970s attire?
Poor fashion trends that you got on board with, because I remember late 80s, the two-tone jeans. They were like basically
washed out.
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
like two
Yeah.
solid colors.
Yeah.
I had like a gray front and a black
wait,
back.
wait.
Two-tone.
Kind of like.
I
Yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah.
that.
Oh, they just had it up there a
those
moment ago. The denim two-tone.
Denim, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
I think that looks kind of cool. The one to your left, I
This
like
one
that.
here?
I think that looks good.
I feel like I had
like it.
one. No, right there. That looks like a woman's pair of
Wow.
pants. But I remember having my own pair where it was
Brutal.
like black in the back and more like a gray in the front. Hey, I've got my two-tones on tonight, guys. Let's
Yeah.
go. We're going
Yeah.
out. Parachute pants with the zippers is what our director Brian Matthews is recalling from his cool youth.
I do like the fact that we got back to the 70s a little bit, but right now it seems like it's a little bit of a morph between the 60s and the 70s,
Like
where a lot of the
current-
men's
current
ties have
style?
gone really thin,
Sure.
which that's from the 1960s.
Yep.
The 70s had those ridiculously wide men's ties that seem just crazy wide if you look at them now.
Right. I don't like the skinny or the wide. Why can't we just
Alyssa?
have
Yeah,
a
I kinda like
normal
this one.
size tie?
This is kind of normal size.
I would
Alyssa
say
says, I'm guessing her poor fashion faux pas was layered polo shirts and OP shorts. What are the OP
Oh, yeah,
shorts?
the layered
Oh,
polo
Ocean
shorts.
Pacific?
Ocean Pacific, like surf shorts? Is that what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
they were kind of like very flowery, sort of surfy.
Okay.
And they were kind of long. I think
Yeah,
they always
yeah,
went
like
a
board
little bit below the
shorts.
knees. Am I recalling that
That's
correctly,
funny.
Brian, you think? Our director, Brian Matthews? That made me think of something else, and now it skipped my head. Never mind. What did she say?
layered polo shirts.
Oh, I was
like
thinking,
couple. Like,
right. But when she said the layer, I thought about
I
the members
see.
only jackets.
Oh
is what came
man,
to my
okay.
mind.
I'm following.
I
now.
remember the
do
layered
remember that.
shirts. Yeah,
Yep.
people wore you wore multiple shirts, right?
That's
Isn't that what that was?
Unfortunate.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so I was born in the 80s, and so I'm going to take it to
You were
the 90s.
born in the
I was
80s?
born in the 80s.
1985.
Close.
7.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna go to the 90s, and this is the young me, like the middle school. Let's talk middle school age. Producer Jess is my age. Jess, have you seen that video of that beauty blogger going around Facebook? And she's talking about, she made this really funny thing about if the 90s hair and makeup trends were active today. And maybe we can look it up because you guys just I can't even explain it how terrible our makeup choices were.
In the 90s.
In the 90s.
In the 90s.
So think like blue eyeshadow with the real white, like the shimmery eyeshadow.
I kinda
The hair
remember
up in these terrible, like spunky looking ponytails.
Well, the 80s had the big hair,
Yes.
right? And then
Yeah,
the
but
90s
this
it came
is-
back a
And
little.
girls teased their hair. I remember in the 80s, I started high school in 88, graduated in 92. The whole run, girls would like tease their hair up high.
Oh, sure.
They called those girls at high school domers.
Domers.
Jay laughs. I don't know why. That was like the domers, and then there was the preppy girls, and then there was, I think there was the stoners and the domers.
Okay. That was not my time, but okay. One other thing was the eyebrow. You guys can't even relate to this, but these ladies on the feed.
is why Brenda should stick around. Help
Overplucking
you out
our
with this one.
eyebrows was the thing when eyebrows were real thin. Girls, we all did it.
You did it?
That's my one advice.
I'm
to
really looking at your eyebrows right now, by the way.
my
That'd be
daughter
brought to my
or
attention.
other women with young girls is just don't let your daughters go anywhere near their eyebrows.
So,
Keep them nice
I
and
can't
full.
stop looking at your eyebrows
See,
now.
know this. Look at Gwen Stefani. The thin eyebrow game was super popular then, and everybody wanted to overpluck their eyebrows.
But let me ask you a question, Ashley.
Yeah?
I've seen some women where it looks like they have practically no natural eyebrow,
Yeah.
and they basically have penciled on
Yeah.
with a wide marker an eyebrow.
Well, that
But
was
my
a
question to
style.
you, do you think they did in fact pluck out their eyebrows, a lot of those women?
I think some people just fill them in because they're not, they
just
don't
didn't have bushy
thick
eyebrows.
enough
Yeah.
eyebrows.
Anyway.
But that was a
All right.
style. People would like draw them on. Yeah. So anyways, enough about that. Jenny says, I loved polo shirts, jelly shoes, and
yeah, the
501
jellies.
jeans. They were painful. Okay,
501 jeans.
Adriana is saying, yes, I did it. And I think she's talking about the eyebrows. I think she's relating to me on that one. So
I remember the jellies. I remember
The
that's
jelly
it.
shoes.
Yes. My,
Yeah.
my,
You remember painter's pants? Are you too old for that? You're probably too old for that. Camera
Too
Jay, do
old?
you remember painter's pants?
Too old for
You remember painter's pants?
You mean too young?
so
God,
young.
I'm so old.
The really big baggy
mean
ones?
too
Yeah,
young
they
for
were
that?
baggy. They were kind of cream color.
like
They had
the,
big pockets on them. They were kind of before the cargo pants.
Yeah,
came
but then they brought them back and MC Hammer
And they
wore
were
them, and then they were
super
like the little
comfortable.
like.
But they
No,
were
I'm just kidding.
super
Yeah,
comfortable.
yeah, and I don't remember those.
No, but
Did we mention this? Did we mention the tight roll?
No, what's that? Oh, with
Anybody
the
did the tight roll?
yes.
Remember when you used to like roll? You used
That
to like
was weird.
roll that
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
and it looked weird.
We would like.
Here, I'll do it.
you know
I'll do
what I'm
it. It
talking-
is
we
kind
would
of
take
weird
the bottom
looking
of our pant, and we would like basically
Yeah, you
take it
just
like
do
this, and
this.
then you would, we have it up, and like a lot of your sock was showing.
But
Yeah.
but now they make pants like that.
but
Yeah,
now
that's popular.
what we used to
So
call
this is the
high
deal.
waters
Oh, that's
are now the
funny.
fashion.
Do the other one and walk around.
I don't know if we went that high.
like that. Well, I'm wearing short pants, here,
Right.
so that don't really work so good.
But then we used to also with our sweatpants. Did you guys use the pull our
The
sweatpants
one leg up?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. It was one leg at one point.
That's
Maybe
still
it-
done.
Really?
Yeah, I do it. Actually, I don't do it. I don't do it
You
intentionally.
wear one leg
Here's
up?
the deal. I have a pair of Penn State Athletic Department issued pants.
Right.
Yes.
Sweatpants. They are my pride and joy.
Yes.
I had them since I graduated 19 years ago.
On the track teams, while you
18
had
years
them.
ago. Yes, yes, and they're well worn over the last 20
So
years.
when you put them
and the
over-
elastic is so loose around the ankles now that sometimes it just rides up and gets to my knee and gets stuck there. So now I'm walking around with
Funny.
sweatpants that like kind of only go down to here.
That's not a good
I
look.
wonder what we all do today that in 10 or 15 years we're going to say, wow, I wish we didn't wear that or do that. What would you say from today's style and culture?
I feel like today's really.
Because every generation has that.
It never feels odd in the time.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's true.
We're
from
looking
this
at it right
decade.
now going, well,
I'm
nothing's
gonna
weird.
I'm gonna make a fashion comment.
Please
Yes,
do.
sir.
The really crazy wild pocket square, wild shirt, wild tie, whatever, that none of it matches and it's a fashion statement.
Right now,
I don't think that's a fashion statement.
our producer just said she would wear gaucho pants religiously. Is that recently, Jess?
Oh yeah, gaucho pants. Those are the short ones.
Oh, but those came back
Oh,
too.
like the jumper?
Yeah.
A romper
back.
or whatever, like a little kid
Oh,
wears
I
a
wonder
romper?
I love little rompers. I wonder if rompers will be this decade's.
Okay.
Faux pas. Jess says, I already regret wearing the romper.
The other day, Nina was here, Nina Melhoff, who normally guides the ship that
Yeah.
is the Sunrise Extra program. And
We
she was
miss you,
wearing,
Nina. Get
she was
back
wearing a
on.
dress, and I thought it was a romper. I said, oh.
She's
I said-
worn rompers.
I
She
said,
pulls
well,
them off.
this particular day, I said, that's a nice romper. She goes, it's not a romper.
Because you don't know what a romper is.
I guess I don't know what a romper is.
Okay, what else do we have to talk about, by the way?
I hope nothing.
Because we're running out of time.
Hey,
I know.
you
Should
might
we
be
end
right.
it? Shall
You
we
might
end
be
it
right.
here?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
we're done.
It's 7:21
Rod.
on a Thursday. Everyone's
hope
ready for the
nothing.
I hope your
weekend.
voice gets well soon.
This was Sunrise Extra. Thank you to those who did chime in today and provided us with responses to talk about on the extra feed. That's it. Ashley, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Chris, say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Rodney.
I've already gone.